So you live in or around Kearneysville and you've got a dog. You know that finding the right trainer is a pretty big deal. We're going to walk through everything you need to know, from the unique things about our area to the right questions to ask, so you can find that perfect match for you and your dog. The first thing we got to talk about is that life for a dog here in Jefferson County is, well, it's just different. All this open space, the wildlife wandering through, the rural roads, it all adds up to some unique training needs that you just don't run into in a big city. A good local trainer really gets that. All right, so here's our plan. We'll look at what makes training here unique, then get into your training options. After that, we'll cover how to choose a trainer, the essential questions you need to ask, and finally, where to go locally to practice everything you've learned. So let's get right into it. What exactly makes training a dog around Kearneysville so different? Let's take a closer look. Think about your day-to-day life out here. Respecting property boundaries is a huge one, right? Especially when your closest neighbor is way over there across a field. And having a dog that comes back the second you call them, that solid recall, is not just a nice to have, it's absolutely crucial when a deer pops out of nowhere or you're walking near a busy road. Okay, so keeping those local challenges in mind, what are your actual training options? Let's break down some of the common terms and formats you're going to run into. You're going to hear this term a lot, positive reinforcement, and there's a really good reason for that. It's a humane and incredibly effective approach that most professionals recommend. Basically, it's all about rewarding the good stuff your dog does. This builds a really strong bond of trust and makes the learning stick. All right, next up, you kind of have to decide on the setting. Is the problem you're trying to solve happening at home? Like going crazy when the doorbell rings or jumping all over guests? Well, in-home training is perfect for that. But if you need your dog to learn to listen to you when there are other dogs and people around, that's where group classes are fantastic. Okay, you might see a bunch of letters after a trainer's name, and it can look a little confusing. But these aren't just random letters. They're certifications, and they mean something. They tell you that a trainer has actually passed some tough exams and is serious about keeping up with their education. It's really a good sign that you're dealing with a true professional. Now for the very practical side of things. Let's walk through the steps of actually selecting the right person for the job. Of course, budget is always part of the conversation. This table here gives you a ballpark idea of what training costs looked like for 2025 around Jefferson County. You can see prices really vary depending on what you're looking for, from a basic puppy class all the way up to those intensive board and train programs. Think of this as a starting point so you know what to expect. Okay, so you've done your research, you've got a short list of trainers. Now it's time to actually talk to them. And knowing what to ask is going to make all the difference in finding the right fit. So here's a simple checklist of questions you should absolutely ask. Asking about their methods confirms they're using that positive approach we talked about. And that question about customizing training for our rural lifestyle, that ties right back to those unique challenges we mentioned earlier. Running through these will help you get a really clear picture. All right, you've picked your trainer, you've started the lessons. Now for what is honestly the most important part, practice. So let's talk about some great local places to put all those new skills to work. But before you head out, just a quick reminder on some of the local rules. It's pretty straightforward. Jefferson County requires dogs to be on a leash in public spots, and West Virginia's state law says your dog needs a current rabies vaccine. Just following these simple rules helps everyone get along and keeps things safe for everybody. And here are some really great local spots to get that real-world practice in. The Shepherdstown Dog Park. It's perfect for working on that recall in a safe, off-leash environment. If you need to work on leash manners with distractions, hikers, bikes, the C&O Canal Towpath is fantastic for that. Each place offers a different kind of challenge to help make those new skills really stick. All this work is about so much more than just getting your dog to sit or stay. It's about building a confident, happy companion that you love having at home, that your neighbors are happy to see, and that can be your best buddy on all the adventures our beautiful area has to offer. Best of luck on your training journey.